In this video, we're going to go through a very funny instance whereby the CEO of Goldman Sachs was bragging about how much money the company's made on LinkedIn, and then his own employees are complaining that their bonuses aren't big enough, right? So the CEO of Goldman Sachs, as you can see here, David Solomon, he posted on LinkedIn that they're pleased with their strong results. They had 50% increase in their revenue. And then they've got employees at Goldman Sachs are responding. Brenda saying, hopefully you can pass off some of those gains to your own employees. And then Angela said, hard to believe that we're getting absolutely nothing from the success that we've had this year. So many employees at Goldman Sachs are not happy with the bonus they're getting, despite the CEO and the company doing quite well. Just for your info, Goldman Sachs had, like I say, an increase in revenue by 50%. And as David Solomon, he got a massive bonus of over 30 million from what I recall, right? So it's kind of interesting what's going on in this particular article when people are kind of unhappy with it. And you can see it's gone viral. It's been on many different news sites. The bank CEO posted about 50% revenue growth, and employees are saying that we're getting absolutely nothing. So if you look at this particular went viral, it talks about how post received dozens of different comments, and most notably from this employee who's calling out the CEO that they're not getting much in terms of their bonus, right? But they're helping the bank make billions of dollars essentially. So it's really interesting because some people were saying, oh, this is a good thing that they're speaking up for themselves, but probably while she might not get fired immediately, I'm sure she's probably on the chopping block to be part of a layoff in a year or two, right? So it's crazy that many replies have gone to this, and it really is indicative of Goldman Sachs not having a healthy company culture. Because if the bank's making a 50% revenue boost, you think you'd pay all your employees well, that they're doing a good job. And the CEO is getting a massive bonus of like 30 to 35 million from what I recall. You think they would be giving the employees kind of good, but the employees are complaining about these type of ridiculous pay disparities, even at a major investment bank like Goldman Sachs. So while you've got employees kind of venting, making enough money, actually here's the statistic here. The Goldman Sachs CEO was awarded 80 million stock bonus. Yeah, he got $80 million stock bonus to keep him at the company for another 5 years. Meanwhile, the employees who are working hard, doing the work, while he's just doing media appearances and doing brand image kind of consultations and things. Sachs is trying to clean up their negative image in the public domain. He's trying to portray himself as a cool guy. I'll go back to that in a second. Their own employees are struggling. You can see here, people are saying insane to be complaining on your CEO's LinkedIn post that you're not getting paid enough in your bonuses. It's probably has sabotaged her career. She'll probably be known around the industry. But what's kind of funny about David Solomon, if you weren't aware, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, one of his main hobbies is being a DJ. Like you can look up D Solomon, and that's his kind of cool, edgy thing. Like, oh, I'm so cool, like the tech bros. I'm like all the cool guys. I'm like a hipster who's like a CEO too. He's trying to give them the impression he's young and hip, if as the boomers would say, right? But people care about really buying all of these fake kind of PR rebrands Sachs is doing, and many other particular companies. So let's go through this in a bit more detail, right? Because Goldman Sachs, they're paying a lot of money again to the CEO. The bank's doing quite well financially, but they're considering, additional pay cuts like this. So this really shows how middle management, particularly, not just the junior employees, but middle management, even they are feeling the squeeze, right? The middle class is slowly being eliminated. You can see all the times it's the have and have nots, it's the super rich and everyone else. It says here, Goldman Sachs intends on cutting 3 to 4% of their staff in Q2, around 1,900 job cuts, let's just say 2,000 job cuts. Vice presidents are expected to be the first in line, so that's like middle management, lower middle management. And Goldman Sachs is reportedly asking other presidents and managing directors, which would be like mid and senior management company, to move to low-cost locations like Salt Lake City. So when I worked at Goldman Sachs, Salt Lake City is quite a common location for some of their tech staff to work in. It's low cost, as you could probably imagine. While I myself had never been offered to work there, I did think, what would life be like in Salt Lake City? Now, obviously, I'm a UK citizen. I don't think I'd be relocating there, given my role was more based on the trading floor in London. But I did think about, when you're in those more remote locations, yes, your job's a bit less secure. They might be outshoring or offshoring some of those jobs over the long term from Salt Lake City to somewhere like Mumbai in India. But also I think about, sometimes it's good if you could get a good corporate role, paying corporate role, and you're living in an area which is kind of lower cost and you have like the opportunity to have a big house and a big family because there's just more space, right? The housing is more affordable. The kind of lifestyle you can live is a bit more laid, not working on a busy trading floor in New York or in London. It doesn't make you think like what do you actually want to do? What type of lifestyle? A lot of these people are going to get pushed to lower cost of living locations, like away from New York towards Salt Lake City. Some of those jobs probably will get automated, or AI, or outsourced, like I say, to India. So it's worthwhile considering how middle management are feeling the squeeze, right? It's not just the more junior employees who are struggling. And if they do cut 1,900 people, so let's just say around 2,000 people, it will pay an average of per head in severance costs. And I know, it really does depend on what your role is, how much you can get paid cost. And then it says Morgan Stanley is cutting about 2,000 people, and they'll give 72,000 per person in terms of layoff money. Now, I talk often on my channel about packages, right? Because sometimes they can be really good for you. Now, obviously, you don't want to lose your job, but if you lose your job, and let's just say you get $80,000. Depending on your circumstances, you can really make that work for you. Let's just say, hypothetically, let's keep it simple. You're in London, you're working at a top investment bank, you get fired, you get a layoff, they give you $50,000, right? Roughly. What could you do with that? You could be someone who's renting in London. Maybe you're younger. You just didn't have to get on the property ladder. You don't own any property. Your lease is about to come to an end at wherever you're renting your property, an expensive, overpriced apartment in London, so you can get the offices of Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. Then you have about $50,000, let's just say, because the pay and the layoff package will be much lower in London compared to a hub like New York. You could make that really work for you. You could stretch $50,000 by moving to Thailand, moving to Bali, moving to any low cost of living location across the world. Maybe you have ancestry there. Maybe you're from a diverse background. Maybe I know some people who are from Nigeria or Kenya or the Caribbean, like that. You could get a decent middle class lifestyle there for a couple. And what could you do in a couple years? You could build your own online income, right? Or you could reskill in something that is going to give you more job security. Maybe you work in finance, you want to learn coding, you want to go into tech. Tech market's slow right now, but if you combine your high quality finance skills, having the big names on your resume, Goldman's and Stanley, and then you learn some coding skills, you come up with some ideas, you set up your own software company or AI software company, you work with other investors, you work as a freelancer, a consultant, like that, maybe a financial advisor, a freelance financial advisor. You live in Jamaica, for example, because that's your country where you've been working in London for the majority of your life. Then you have a much lower cost of living, much income, higher quality of living standards compared to the middle class income in London, where things are quite expensive, or Thailand, Bali. I'm just giving you examples. The whole point is, rather than getting a layoff and getting depressed and be like, oh, I have to quickly rush to find my next job. Oh, if I'm out the job market, the world's going to end. There's many people who I wouldn't always recommend this, and that's why I have career coaching to help you with your personal circumstances. It's worthwhile thinking outside the box, because most people are going to think inside the box, right? Like, oh, I just lost my job, I have to find another one. Maybe you could be like, I just lost my job, maybe I should rethink my life, right? And particularly now, who's winning in life? It's people who are taking risks, people who are willing to consider alternative solutions. But that's just some ideas for yourself to think through, so you don't get caught up with, oh, I'd never go back to wherever my parents were originally from to save money and plan ahead, But you could really win if you think efficiently about it. My daughter is very unhappy with a Goldman Sachs bonus. So this is an anonymous article from someone who written to this website, and he's talking about his daughter. My daughter feels that the junior staff at Goldman Sachs are underpaid, while managing directors at Goldman Sachs are being paid quite highly, and that's not fair. She says the mistakes with Goldman Sachs' retail bank, Goldman Sachs, if you weren't aware, mainly an investment bank. They have wealth management, all these other type of banking arms, but they have a major retail bank that they launched that I think did somewhat well at the start, but maybe it's struggling now. It was called Marcus. So what happened with Marcus? They were offering high interest savings account. So initially they had a really very popular bank account, savings account that everyone was opting for in America and to a certain extent in the UK. But it looks like they're not doing so well. So she says the mistakes with the retail bank have made things worse for whole cohort pay, and the working environment is less fun. There's less workplace travel and there's less client entertainment. Right? My daughter is highly employable. I'm confident that other banks will want to hire her, and I appreciate knowing what is the situation for other employees at Goldman Sachs. So in this anonymous article, interesting looking through this because firstly, if you're working hard and your department makes a lot of money, or your team, there's another part of the bank and they have a major loss, like the retail bank, then the investment bank bonuses suffer. They might say, well, we need to take some of the money the investment bank's made and put it into the retail bank because they've made a $50 million loss. And then all of a sudden your bonus, which could have been 100 grand that year, is gone down to 50 grand, right? So it's kind of interesting how much of a bonus is out of your control. But it's interesting that not only just middle management, in this case at Goldman Sachs, but also junior employees are complaining. They're complaining on the LinkedIn profile of CEO. Some of them probably will get fired for doing this kind of complaining. It's gone viral in terms of on Twitter with millions of people looking through these some of these tweets, and also on these global articles, Hindustan Times, so even in India, people look about this, right? And typically in India, you don't really see complaining culture around the workplace environment. So what can we really learn from this? That's what I really have to raise for you, is that firstly, if you want to earn high income salaries, deal with office politics, survive the competitive corporate environment in finance and other top industries, I'm able to help you through my career coaching, which you can see here, helping you secure promotions, get bigger bonuses, land your dream career. And I also have a newsletter that's completely free, link in description. Feel free to sign up. Monday and you'll get some useful career tips from me. And then also, if you look through my career course, it's called a career code. It's a course, link in description again, but there's many tips here, right? The whole thing is you want to take advantage of when you're in a high paying career and save and invest accordingly, because you never know when the tide could turn for you, right? You've got this middle management who look like they're being driven out of Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley to a certain extent. Like I say, if they get massive layoff package, they can learn from this lesson. If you have a year of bonuses, you can learn from this lesson. If you have a downturn, this will really protect you. And what I mean by that is, if you build financial power, have a few good years of bonuses, invest it accordingly, you will never have to beg for a paycheck again. You wouldn't mind dealing with a layoff. You won't mind a year where you have a low bonus, because you're not mentally relying on, oh, well, my living costs have been high. I've had a lot of lifestyle inflation this year, but bonus will be big next year. You don't know next year. Are you going to get a bonus? You're going to get a layoff.